In this video, we're going to dive into the commitment portion of the sales call. Now, this is specifically for high ticket closers. So if you're not a high ticket closer or you don't want to be a high ticket closer, go ahead and skip this video. It's not for you. If you are a high ticket closer or you want to be a high ticket closer, you're in the right place. My name is Mike Antiles. I have been a high ticket closer for the past 2.5 years. In the 2.5 years, I have closed about just over $5 million in cash. And this YouTube channel is really just dedicated to me sharing my tips, my best practices, to really help you get to the same place. Start earning $30,000, $40,000 commissions a month. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the commitment portion of the sales call, that is, we already did our discovery, we already did our presentation, and now we're getting close to the end zone. We're going to go ahead and close the deal soon. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we have commitment from the prospect that this is something that they do 100% want to do, and now is the right time. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so there's going to be 3 parts of the commitment stage of the call. Number 1 is going to be questions, right? What questions do they have for us? Number 2 is the temp check, just getting a gauge on how bought in they are on the process. And then number 3 is just walking them through the next steps. All right, so let's start off with the questions. So we finish our presentation and then we say to them, what questions do you have on the process in specific? Now there's 2 important things here that I want to cover. What questions do you have? Why do we not say, do you have any questions? Well, if you say to someone, do you have any questions? There's a really good chance they're going to say no. There's probably a 90% chance they're going to be like, no, I don't have any questions. Now, we want questions here. We want to get any curiosity out of their mind, any doubt out of their mind. We want to answer their questions. So we say, what questions do you have? It triggers in their mind, okay, now I have to think of the questions that I have. All right, and the other thing, what questions do you have on the process in specific? All right, we have to be very direct at this part of the call. All right, we don't want them to all, right? If we don't say, if we don't use the word specific, then they might say, well, what's the price? Or how long have you been doing this for? Those questions don't matter yet, right? We don't want to answer those questions at this point of the call. We just want to know what questions they have on the process in specific. So we're gonna guide them as far as what questions we want them to ask. All right. Then when we're answering their questions, the first thing that you want to do is clarify. What do they actually mean when they ask that question? Right? Because sometimes what you'll see is they'll ask a question and it could seem innocent, but if you answer it wrong, it might uncover an objection that wasn't even there in the first place. Right? I'll give you an example. Let's say we get to the end of the call and the prospect says to us, do you guys have group coaching? All right. Seems like an innocent question, but it could mean one of a few different things. What if that prospect was part of a different program in the past and there was group coaching calls and there were just so many people on the group coaching calls that felt like they couldn't get any questions answered? Right? So the prospect says, do you guys do group coaching? What you're going to say is, well, there is a group part to this. There's a community aspect to it. But can I ask, like, just so I understand, is there a specific reason that you asked that question? And then they'll say, yeah, because I was part of a program in the past and there were huge coaching calls and I couldn't get any questions answered. And it just felt like it was a big waste of my money and waste of my time. Gotcha. Yes. So there is definitely, we do have some group coaching calls. Now they're very small group coaching calls. We really limit them to 10 to 15 people to make sure everyone gets their questions answered. And even beyond that, you can always submit your questions beforehand. And if you submit your questions beforehand, you'll know that you're going to get your questions answered within the first 10, 15 minutes of the call, and you'll have nothing to worry about. All right. So now we know, since we asked for context on why they're answering the question, we know how to answer their question in the best way possible. We're not going to lie. All right. But we know how to answer their question to cater exactly what they're looking for. All right. The other thing is we're going to want to answer, right? So that's clarify. The next thing we want to do when we're answering their questions is keep your answer as brief as possible. All right. If possible, answer their question in a word or two. All right. If you can actually give them a real answer, an honest answer in a word or two, do that. All right. If it takes a sentence, it takes a sentence. If it takes 2 sentences, it takes 2 sentences, but really try to keep it as brief as possible. All right. You don't want to talk too much because then you create new objections. All right. So keep your answers brief. And then the last thing is we want to maintain control of the conversation. Right. Right now they're asking us questions. And as we know, whoever is asking the questions on a call or in general in a conversation, they're the ones that are controlling the conversation. And we want to maintain control of the conversation. All right. So if the cadence of the conversation is now prospects ask the question, we answer. Prospect asks a question, we answer. They're controlling the conversation. So whenever we answer a question, we finish it off with what else? What other questions? Right? So that way we maintain control of the conversation. And don't be like a robot, right? Don't just keep saying what else, what other questions. You can phrase it in different ways. All right. Then, okay, we go ahead and answer all their questions. They feel good. Now we want to move on to the temp check. All right. Temp check is really just to gauge how bought in are they on the process. How much do they feel that this is the right thing and now is the right time? All right. There's a few different ways that you can do this. I've tested out many different ways of doing it. Really, the most simple, the most basic, and really it works beautifully is just using a basic scale of 1 to 10. All right. So what you're going to say is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, dude, this is like absolutely terrible. I hate it. Like, I never want to see this bald guy ever again. 10 being, I love it. Let's do it. Like, where would you say you're at? Right. And then they'll give you an answer. Now, something important. This is a very salesy question. People know it's a salesy question. You want to lighten up the mood, right? I like to make the joke about me being bald, right? But you can make whatever joke you want. All right. You want to add a joke. The one just make the one just like something that's absolutely terrible. Make sure they're not going to choose anything close to a 1, right? If you get below a 5, like you really messed up badly. Right. But you want to make a joke out of the 1 a little bit. If you're bald, you can use the same one as me. If you're not, then figure out something else. Right. Then they're going to give you where they're at on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's say, so in general, if they give you a 9 or a 10, you're good. You did a good job. You can go in for the close. If they gave you an 8, you might be okay. You just have to clarify. 7 or up, 7 or under, that's bad. It means that you still have some objection handling to do. All right. So let's say they say 7. I'm a 7 out of 10. Gotcha. And then the first thing that you want to do is ask them, why not a 2? That sounds funny. Why not a 2? Well, the reason you want to ask them that is because now they're going to sell you, and more importantly, sell themselves on why they do want to do this. They still have some doubts, but first let them sell you on why they do want to do this and why they think it's a good fit. Right? Once they do that, then you can tell them, okay, gotcha. So you said you're like a 7 out of 10. What do you think the gap is between where you are right now to being maybe like a 9 or a 10? And then they'll tell you what their objection is, and you can go ahead and handle it with no stress at all, right? There's no price on the table. You're not trying to close any deals yet. There's no pressure at all. You handle the objection, nice and easy. And then, right, once you do that, then you want to get another gauge, right? So you can hit them again with, why do you feel you'll be successful with this? Or why do you think this is going to be a good fit for you? Once you get a sufficient answer that makes you, that really leads you to believe that they do want to do this and now is the right time, then we're going to hit them with an incredibly, incredibly powerful question. We say to them, great, so you feel good about the process. You have no questions. What's next? Where do you want to go from here? All right, now this is an incredibly powerful statement. All right, up until this point in the call, we have controlled the call. We're the ones asking the questions. We're guiding them through this call. And what we're doing here is we're reminding them, okay, you feel good about the process. We just went over that. You feel good about the process. You have no questions. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to completely relinquish control. We ask them, what's next? Where do you want to go from here? There's not much they can answer at this point. 99% of the time, they will tell you, how do I get started? You tell me, what are the next steps? Right? So essentially what they're asking you here is, how do I get started? Walk me through it. I'm ready to pay you. That's what they're telling you now. All right. So this is a super, super powerful question that everyone should be using. All right. And then a lot of people will get excited here. Okay, I'm ready. Here's the price. Pay me. Not yet. Before you let them know what the price is, you want to make sure that they have 100% clarity on the next steps. All right. So you tell them, okay, so the next steps from here is we'll go ahead and we'd process the investment either on debit or credit card. From there, we'd get you set up with your onboarding call. On the onboarding call, you're going to get set up with your accountability coach, Melissa. And then, she's going to put you on track and you're really going to make a roadmap to making your first $5,000 a month. Does that sound good to you? And then you go from there. But you really want to make sure that you paint, as soon as they swipe their credit card, they know exactly, there's no doubt in their mind, they know exactly what's happening next. And again, you can always tie them to the results again, right? Let them know that they're going to just tie in the results again, like we just did right there. All right. So that is the commitment portion of the sales call. If you liked this video, I left a link down below. You can go ahead and schedule a call with me. If you want to work with me one-on-one, if you're wondering what that's like, you don't have to wonder anymore. All right. You can click on that link below, schedule a call with me, and we can talk a little bit more about what that looks like. If you don't want to book a call with me, no worries. Like this video, hit subscribe. I'll be posting about 2, maybe sometimes 3 videos a week, just sharing my experience as a high ticket closer and helping you get some of the same results that I've gotten. I'll see you in the next one.